I'm actually the only one wearing an Omega here today. And everyone here loves the brand, but I have a very deep, personal, familial love for Omega. And I think a lot of what Summerproof does is reverse engineer that same familial love that I have to share with everyone else. I wore my Omega Seamaster. This is a watch that my parents gave to me for my 21st birthday. It's actually the same model that my grandfather has, same dial configuration and everything. Mine has patina, his is clean. I wear them both. I love this watch, and every Omega shoot that I go on, I wear this watch.
I wore the watch that I talk about with Christian constantly on videos, the Tag Heuer Carrera 1964 re-edition. My favorite watch of all time. Christian lets me, this is a shop watch, but he lets me wear it whenever we go on shoots. This watch from the watch shop has been with me on so many shoots that I can't see me not actually buying it from Christian and giving him some extra money to pad his pockets a little bit.
Omega was not a day one client. Omega was a client that I never really thought we'd probably ever have. I was very aware that we were doing something on the abstract side for the watch industry. I wasn't necessarily confident that a brand as large as Omega would be as receptive as quickly as they were. I basically pitched Omega a pre-existing concept, told them I'd make it better, asked them to trust me. They took a leap of faith. After Summerproof, they were very glad they did take that leap of faith, because in retrospect, they didn't know that much about the concept, because truthfully, even though we storyboarded it and had a great plan, the end result was so much better than our original plan. So much of the brilliance of Summerproof happened live on the spot, you know, so I couldn't have included it in the pitch. It's being improvisational, but it's listening to your surroundings and seeing, okay, I never could have expected that, but that's brilliant. That will help me sell this product that much better. One of the great moments was the loom with the flashlight. When Luca was walking through the backyard looking for sticks so we could ultimately make s'mores, which also wasn't in the storyboard, you know, I saw the flashlight and I said, loom. Moonlight doesn't really light loom. Where else at night are you going to get your loom charged? You're not. But loom is incredibly cool to everybody, but especially to a kid. It's magic. That warms you up, you know, and the audience felt the same way. I mean, that was one of the moments that wasn't planned and ultimately resonated with so many people.
Finding those moments that you could never script because something happened. The light came down this way, or a light went out, or something like that. That's where you want to see like those pockets of real life mixed in with, like, of course, we're filming it in a very improvisational way where nothing is structured. You want to also find those moments in real life where people are not planning things out. They planned out they're going to bring food. They didn't plan for their daughter to drop the bowl of food on the way out. Now you have an actual story and like an actual family moment. Everybody, especially now, sees ads and everything all the time, perfect polish. Every TV show you see is perfectly polished. Seeing something where the camera's not perfectly level, it's a little too dark, it's a little too bright, you're seeing into someone's life genuinely. You're like, okay, there's truth in that, because they're more concerned about what's happening in the environment versus if the shot's gonna look good. Or they don't even know. They wanted to record something special, so you can feel what the person is they are filming.
I remember the first time that I saw Summerproof. I was struck by the cinema verite feel of it. I think it's the film that made me curious about who Michael was. Who's behind the camera, who's behind the edit of this, who's behind the vision of this, because it's unique. And it's not what you see on other channels like that. And I discovered LMF and Theo and Harris through loving watches and through loving content around watches, and it set itself apart from anything else that I had seen like it. In the watch space and content made around watches, there is an unlimited amount of content that is focusing upon and highlighting and beautifying the specs. And a lot of us love the specs, but most people who are gonna buy a watch, 90%, don't care at all. It's an emotional purchase. The time you can tell on your iPhone, this is something that you're going to wear and love and pass down. And with a film like Summerproof, it cuts right past all of that to the heart of why anyone would ever buy a watch in reality, which is because they want to feel something, and this watch will make them feel something.
It was Summerproof. It was the reaction, the market reaction to Summerproof, that we went on and really built LMF off of. I mean, after Summerproof, a week later, we knew we were going to build LMF. we said, okay, not only are we having a resoundingly positive reaction from Omega themselves, and they're going to do more work with us, and that's phenomenal, but the audience is going nuts. They really think that we're onto something. And other brands are now, watch brands, outside of watch brands, a ton of brands are now saying, hold on, not only was this great, you did a great job, but like, Omega trusts you. So if Omega trusts you, I trust you.
The point was really to build the brand of Omega past what we see from their marketing, past Speedmaster, Moon, here is footage from the moon, here's audio from the moon, here is, XYZ, to give you that warmth of like, oh, that is what Omega is. That is a generationally ownable watch. And I see like families are doing that. And if I go into a boutique, like I'm more familiar with the heart of the brand rather than just the crazy, beautiful technical specs of Omega. It's a 2-for-1 right there. So that was our goal.
Summerproof is beautiful. It's my family, it's Super 8, it's hot dogs in the backyard, it's the most warm feeling you could possibly have, but it's a commercial, right? And that's the duality. It's a commercial. And if it doesn't make the viewer more likely to buy a watch from Omega or to be more loyal to the Omega brand by its end, it's a failure. No matter how pretty it was, it's a failure. That's how we look at this stuff, right? It can be all great, but it has to do something. And that's really what LMF is in a nutshell.
After I saw Summerproof for the first time, I knew immediately that this was a team of creatives that I had to work with, which is not something you can guarantee, but I had a strong feeling about it. And now, a year on, working with Christian and Michael and the team at LMF on varying projects from finance to sports to watches, what I found was that their philosophy absolutely aligns with my own. It's been an incredibly smooth transition into bringing my talents into this team.
To be a lover of watches is to be a subject of marketing. So many of our passions for brands and our loyalties to brands and our decisions to actually put our credit card down and make a purchase are based not on a spec sheet. They're not based in materials necessarily. Brands certainly have to meet a standard, within their price range, fine, but that's just the standard. Everything else, right? That jump that brings you to put your credit card on the table, that's emotional. For the vast majority of people, that's emotional. And we know how to close that gap, how to bring the customer on the journey from the point of, yeah, I could buy that, to let's go, right? With urgency. I love Summerproof. I love Omega. I am genuinely proud and still in disbelief that we are trusted by Omega.